Our next guest is a national treasure who knows her pages from her pasodobles and her chapters from her cha-cha-chas. Her latest book, Best Foot Forward, is out now and is chock-a-block with wisdom from her glittering life. So on this show, it's never too early for a chat with Shirley Ballas!
Come on! She's here to chat to us. It's Shirley Ballas. Hello, Shirley.
Hello, Chris.
It's been too long.
I know.
I love you.
I love you too.
We all love you so much.
Aww.
This book is great, man.
Did you enjoy it?
It's great. Yeah, look at my homework. Look.
Oh my,
I'm
oh
all
my.
sorted out here. So it's a bit of a memoir as well, isn't it?
It is. In 2019, when I wrote Behind the Sequins, you and I chatted about that. But I think I was so new to TV at the time that I didn't really have the confidence to write certain things, that I think were actually quite interesting. So I thought, you know what, I'll do a continuation of the last 9 years of my life, plus go back a little bit to before. It's actually a very compelling book, very emotional. So even talking about it this morning, I'll probably get quite emotional. It really was my heart and soul. It was a difficult book to write for me, I have to say.
What made it so difficult?
I think it was difficult because it was all of me, not part of me. I think in 2019 I wrote bits, but in this one I talk about health, going through the menopause, feeling lonely, those dark hours that I had, as well as some of the joyous things, the loss of my brother, and some more true facts that go around that, but mostly about health and my life and where I started and where I'm going, and about love, that I don't really think I'm convinced myself now that I'm not put on this planet Earth to find that kind of love where people love you as a personal relationship, but much more about being here as a dancer to help people go forth and be what they want to be. So I've kind of feel that that's where I'm at right now in my life.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And is that because of the compartmentalisation that we have to do sometimes to protect ourselves from pain and hurt, and the fact that once you compartmentalise that to protect yourself, you also compartmentalise all the other emotions, because you can't actually do it. That's self-delusion. You can't really compartmentalise the things that hurt you and then still have other things that you might want to celebrate.
Well, my life's always lived in compartmentalised, so I always feel like I've got these little trunks behind me with these great big iron chains.
Yeah.
And I pop everything in different boxes, but I'm still dragging it by my ankle. I've yet to be able to be free of all that. And I think it's like you said, it's sort of like moving forward, and I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to sort of find, me, who am I? Who am I? I feel like I'm all sort of running here and running there and doing this and doing that. So I think when I wrote this book, it really helped me as well. My mum's a big part of this book.
Audrey.
88, she turned last week. And I wanted to make this book a little bit more interesting. And of course, the only thing I really know, I'm quite thick actually when it comes to general knowledge.
You're so not.
But when
anyway.
it comes to dancing, I wanted to sort of, really share with the people. So I took each chapter as a step in life for me, step 1, step 2. My mother writes a letter to me. I'll start at the end going forward. She writes a letter to me at the very, very end. And when I did the audio book, it took me an hour and a half to read that letter, because my mother's always been best wishes, Shirley. Have a nice day, Shirley. She never says much more than that. She's not tactile. She's a strong woman, She comes from that era of strong women. But she writes me this 1.5-page letter, and it was difficult to read. And then, of course, at 65, I write a letter to my 17-year-old self on what to expect. And that was also difficult to write. But at the beginning of each chapter, step 1, step 2, I have sort of like, put your best foot forward. And then my mum will say, just get to the front of the queue, Shirley. Or I put a nice little quote, polish your stage presence. She might put on it, hang your problem at the door and pick it up on your way out. So I have lots of golden nuggets from her. Nice chapters that relate to dancing, whether it's holding your frame. What happens when you have a beautiful frame in waltz? Then suddenly your whole frame drops and your life falls apart. What do you do? So I've interrelated dance with this.
Beautiful metaphors.
And then Shirley shimmers at the end of each paragraph, at the end of each chapter, what I've learned through that segment and part of my life.
It's a lovely format. So Shirley has a title, the title of the chapter. So various titles, various steps, because there's chapters are steps, so the steps are chapters. Except the rise and fall, gain alignment, hold your frame, trust your partner, keep dancing, face the music, polish your stage presence, be the choreographer, be confident, and on they go. And they're always on the right-hand side page. And then if you turn that, Audrey has her version of the title on the left-hand page. Then you have the chapter, and then you have this sort of the conclusion or the précis of it, the Shirley Shimmers bit. It's great, isn't it? It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And so this letter from your mum, right? So she's stoic, she's tough, you know, and then she writes you this letter, and it's different. And so she's a woman of few words, but obviously they're all in there, and she finally let a few out. Tell us what you think the catalyst behind that was. Were you surprised by what she said? Did it upset you? It didn't upset you, did it? It just moved you to tears. It's different. And they often say the antidote to anxiety is action. And this book is all about releasing yourself with action so you can breathe again. Because you can try and breathe, but if you're too anxious, you can't. But if you take action, you just do anyway because you sort of have to. And then suddenly you realise the pressure begins to be lessened.
I think, you know, when she wrote that letter at the end, which totally caught me off guard because I hadn't seen that letter. It was just suddenly there at the end in the book, and I think they wanted it to be sort of like the true emotion of reading that kind of letter. But she really goes in it quite deep, and for my mother, those things that she wrote in there I'd never heard before. So I think she also thinks that throughout the life I've not always listened to her. Like even now I've got something ongoing, and I got into bed with her last night and she was going, let me just tell you my take on this. And she was sort of, I didn't say anything because I was already tired from a long day at work. And I thought to myself, yeah, it's about time at 65 I start listening to this woman of 88 because she's like a wise old owl, my mum. She's a woman of few words, but those words really resonate with me when she says things because it really pricks something in me. And I just never thought ever in my lifetime I would hear her say those words at the end of the chapter. So,
because you're still her little girl. It doesn't matter what the calendar says. It doesn't matter what your passport says or your birth certificate. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're still her little girl.
See, even now, yeah, it's making me emotional talking about that with her. Yeah.
Because no matter how old we are, you know, it comes from the same rosebed as, you know, we don't stop playing because we get old. We get old because we stop playing. We still don't really know about things. You know, I'm blessed with 5 children, have an amazing wife. I still haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't know why we're here. We try and do our best. You want love, then you find you have to give love. And giving love is sometimes enough, but you can never really truly love anybody else if you don't love yourself first and foremost. So you always get back to square one there. And all the time is ticking by and your mum's still around. And I bet your mum feels the same way about herself sometimes.
Well, at 88, she's always sort of saying to me now, I've had another good year, you know, don't bank on it and me being here next year.
Yeah.
And yesterday she said to me, I do worry about you. Even though you're 65, I worry about you when I'm not here. When she says things like that, it's, I don't know, very difficult to hear. Because without her, who's been a part of my life, I'm not just talking about everybody's close to their mother, but she's lived with me since my son was 2 till he was 21. And then on and off, you know, she was with David for a while and then he passed. Then we had the stalker. So we sold her house and we moved her in with me. So she's been again back with me in the same house for about 4 years. So I get used to her again and being around, and we have our own little routine. She is the boss, by the way. And it's hard to imagine life without her.
It's funny because, you know, when we... Because I thought you'd written another novel when we first heard you were coming in for another book, because your novels are doing really well, aren't they? And it's Christmas, and that's when they usually come out, and this is different, and you're giving yourself a break, and it's a really sort of welcome and surprise change from a copy point of view, and you come in and I've always wondered what makes you so strong, and we've alluded to it before, but this lays it all out, doesn't it? But even now you're vulnerable. You're
very
feeling
vulnerable. I feel even more vulnerable this morning. I'm not really quite sure why.
Well, because you're in a very safe space, so you can be for a start. You know that. Well, I hope you know that anyway.
I do.
And maybe that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But you know, Brené Brown, vulnerability is your superpower.
Yeah.
And that's why people love you, Shirley, because you are 100% your authentic self. And when you're flying high, we all want to, you know, you lift us up.
Aww.
And when you're not, That's cool, because you can't have one without the other. Because if you don't have the vulnerability in mornings like this morning, when you're flying high, we all know you're not really flying high. You're just pretending to fly high. And that's different to fake it till you make it. Because that's pretending. Faking it till you make it has an intention. You talk about fake it till you make it, don't you, in the book?
I do.
Tell us about that.
Well, I have a red button on the left side of my shoulder. So at the moment, let's say we're running up to the International Championships at the Royal Albert Hall. So I'm in a studio with 23 other teachers. It's busy. There's couples from all over the world, and you're teaching from morning to night, these couples. So you're already slightly tired. Then we have the start of Strictly, and then we have this book, and then we have my mum with all her words of wisdom and everything. And sometimes, like this morning, while I was in the room outside, I thought, press that button, press that button. For some reason, it wouldn't press. And it was like, okay, no, we're just going to be you. You don't need to press anything. You're with Chris. Like you said, you're in a safe space, talking about your life, the things that you've done, hoping that people, because I talk about the menopause and I talk about other female issues, and as well as life and family, and my grandson, of course, gets a mention. So I've really tried to be as honest as I can, but for some reason, and I don't really know why, it's quite difficult to talk about. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a lot in it that I never thought in the million years I would write.
Well, it's one thing writing a book. It's another thing talking about the book that you've written. It's a completely different process, and it takes a lot of writers by surprise. I know you've written a couple of books already, as I've said before, including one of your memoirs.
Took me an extra half a day to do the what is it? The audio. Took me an extra half a day to do that because I was breaking down all the time, reading certain chapters myself, and I kind of like was flying above my right shoulder, looking down, thinking, is that really my life? Is that what I've done? Is that what I felt? Is that where I was? So yeah, it was difficult.
Well, it's the story of your life. Yeah. Isn't it? And depending on our perspective every day, which changes every day, it's actually a different story. And you can write it down. And the reason we all love rewatching our favourite films is because the film stays the same, but the viewer has changed.
Correct.
And that's why it's great to have constants in your life. Yeah. Because if you have a constant, you can see how you are that day. That's why, morning gratitude rituals are really useful. Because if your waking ritual stays the same, then you can feel different, because you have something to sort of a spiritual mirror.
Well, my mornings, when I get the chance and the opportunity, is always the yoga. So I always get that for myself, 1 hour a day. And like you said, that half an hour to where you can kind of be thankful and be grateful and read your Bible and do whatever else that you do. I'm absolute devoted to my faith. And I think without that, then there would be nothing else, because it's hard. And particularly in the era of life that we're going in, I worry about, even I write in the book about my grandson and this technology era that we're going into and all the things you learn from that. It's difficult.
Yeah, as my mum said all the time, she said, a pound of worry will buy you an ounce of nothing.
Yeah.
So we can worry all we want.
That's what my mum said. I don't know why you're worrying, because it's going to be what it's going to be at the end of the day.
Worrying is like praying for bad things to happen. So pray for good things instead. Yeah. Let's talk about Keep Dancing, Face the Music. You've mentioned it already, hold your frame. We talk about this a lot. It's better to keep warm than have to get warm. It's better to keep fit than have to get fit. It's really important to hold your frame, be strong, have firm foundations. Life is hard, but you'll be better equipped to cope with it if you hold your frame. And also, hold your frame, and unless you're around people who you trust, who've got your back, because your frame needs a rest now and again. That's where we are today.
That's why you drop your arms, when you're in that beautiful quick step frame and you're suddenly exhausted and you see the frame start to drop, even can parallel it to Strictly a little bit. Have a beautiful frame at the start and then suddenly it starts to fall apart, and life sometimes is like that. But like you say, for everything that goes south, there is good times to look forward to, and it's always going to be a little bit prickly. Life it's never plain sailing. Yeah. Mine definitely is never plain sailing. There's always something or somebody or this or that. So
there's a lovely title which is about if you write the story, you can decide the ending. I can't remember. I've paraphrased that. Something.
Yeah. So what was that one? Oh yes, be the choreographer, own the story, and then you get to write the ending.
Yes. I love that. And you can do that every hour, every minute, every week, every month. I mean, you got to... Also, that helps it helps if you zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
Because today you're feeling vulnerable and diving into it, which is, I think, is awesome. And then if you zoom out a little bit, then you can go, all right, no, I felt a bit vulnerable. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. Do you feel yourself maybe doing that today?
Well, I felt when I walked in today, I was like trying to get that button to work and hold the frame, be poised, Shirley. Everything about me is always being poised, whether it's Saturday night on the TV or going into work, but be poised. And for some reason, I just didn't. First time ever in my life, I felt emotional. I said to Harry before I came in, I feel emotional today. I don't know how I'm going to get through. I did a podcast also recently, and that unfolded a lot, and I think that came out today. So it's all a bit emotional day to day.
Yeah, no, and obviously this is all happening. New book's out. You're talking about the book a lot. You're realizing a lot of things that you've written in the book, and you're now feeling that. Feeling those words and feeling where those thoughts and those words come from, because there's a safety in the keyboard, isn't there? Because it becomes an automatic process, because the voice within you starts writing those words, and then you realise after you've written them down and seen, oh, they came from me, and that's the impasse. And Strictly's back on. I imagine when you get to Strictly on Fridays and Saturdays at the moment, it's a great relief for you, because again, that's a safe space.
It's with everything going on with the championship, which is a week on Thursday at the Royal Albert Hall, and you press so much to deliver as a coach and a teacher to the best for the pupils. That's its pressure in itself.
Yeah.
So when I go on Strictly on a Saturday morning, for me, even though it's a long day and I want to give the best to those contestants, it's still like a relaxed day when it comes to not pressure every 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Dung, 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 dung.
It's a bit of fun.
It's fun. Baubles, bangles and beads, we always say, don't we? Light
Baubles, bangles and
action,
beads.
everybody doing their best, and I thought that the show started off this time just fantastic.
Did you see any of the Ryder Cup over the weekend?
The Ryder Cup.
The golf.
Oh, the golf?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so obviously we've got 12 Europeans against 12 Americans, and it was a very emotional competition, right? So, it's not theatre. I mean, it is. It's sport first and theatre second. And because golf is usually different, and it's not a team sport, and this happens once every 2 years, and it's phenomenal to watch. It's ridiculous to watch. Our players were so emotional on the Saturday, and so much better than the Americans on the Saturday. They came out on the Sunday, and they didn't realise they were completely spent because they'd overcooked it. We won it. We won just about in the end, but we won it on the Friday and Saturday. Friday we played really well. We were quite stable, quite stoic. Saturday we played really well, but we felt all the emotions. And I'm just asking you about this as somebody who knows how to pace yourself over long runs, and it's funny, isn't it? We now know that the tennis players at the top of their game, have you seen how slowly they walk in between points? Because they now know, don't they? You've got to save it and bring it to the point. Not the histrionics in between. Just give us some of that.
I think for me, it's a little bit on a Sunday. I need to have a Sunday for myself, like you say. So the week climbs with my own work and my own pupils and everything I'm doing with my own job. Then it goes to Strictly, which I always find emotional, particularly now when we go into this next week when we have to send somebody home.
Yeah.
So it's like a climb, if you can imagine, climbing. And then at the end of the evening is your climax, and then suddenly there's a tilt and a drop. And so I need a day to sort of get myself together, ready to start the next week. But if you just continue 7 days a week and it's going on the treadmill, which I have done in the past, boom, 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 you feel spent, you feel exhausted, you feel emotional. I'm probably even a little bit emotional now because everything's all at once.
Well.
Yeah.
And there's because I had 11 hours sleep over the weekend, which is nothing when you get up at silly o'clock. But as opposed to going out and getting drunk and pulling an all-nighter like I used to, it was because I went to two unbelievably joyous things. And yesterday morning, I was so ready to hit the wall when I got up at 4:20 to do the show. And I haven't hit the wall because it was a different kind of... I was tired, but I wasn't exhausted.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're anxious, you just unravel, don't you? And you're working really hard. You got nothing left, and you can't tell anyone, because if you wobble, everybody wobbles. You know that better than anybody else.
Well, in our industry, nobody really wants to hear anything you've got much to say. I mean, even when I did the show at the weekend, I think I got a message from 2 people in my industry, which is broad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's... it's hard to get anything from anybody else. Emotional support is difficult to get. And if you do share your emotions, what I found, if I do share my emotions, it's almost like giving somebody a gun and a bullet to fire, because it comes right back at you at some point.
Yeah.
So I tend not to share anymore, because I just feel that people really aren't interested in what one does.
Your mum is, though?
Only my mum. Yeah, my mum and George, my driver, and Harry.
Yeah, well, that's not about ring of steel.
Yeah. I had my birthday with, Georgie I've had for 5 years, and he came, and Harry, my PA, and then my mum said, I want the same. So I could have had a big 65th birthday.
Yeah. But
I thought, no, I'll just keep it quiet with the people that you feel you can really trust.
Yeah, gold bars, mate, over grit and gravel, absolutely. Shirley, Andy says, worrying is like riding a rocking horse. It will keep you busy but gets you nowhere. My nana.
Yeah.
It's all coming. Everybody gets it. Shirley Ballas is on the show talking about her brand new book. It's out now and it's brilliant. Claire says, I think hearts listening all over the world are going out to you, Shirley, right now. Thank you for being so humble and authentic. You are very much loved by all and all. Can't wait to read your book. People can tell
that already makes me emotional.
Yeah, because it's love.
Yeah.
People are giving you love
from
back.
People you don't know,
from
really.
People. That's what.
Sometimes the people that are closest to you, you think you can rely on for support, but actually you can't.
The kindness of strangers. Yeah. This show is full of that. We get it every morning, don't we? We get it every single morning. Tash she was packing for hospital on Sunday because Eli's back in hospital, and a few people had got in touch to say, not to say, is there anything we could do? Is there anything we can do to help? Not to say that, to say, we are going to do this. Because it's nice when people say, is there anything we could do to help? But that's too open a question when you're in the moment. So like one of our friends said, I'll be at your house on Monday at 7 a.m. to look after the kids. It's like, the touch just went. Yeah. And then somebody else said, I'll be there at 7:30. Not like, can I? I am going to be there at 7:30. Tash, she was just buckets, because this strong woman, same thing, Don't get me
emotional now.
What are you getting me? Look, Tilly's going now as well.
Everybody's crying.
Everybody's going. Thanks, Shirley.
Sorry.
Alison in Daventry. I'm sitting here listening to Chris's interview with Shirley Ballas, and at 59, I'm lucky enough to still have my mum. Yesterday, I received difficult medical diagnosis and was feeling low, but this interview has repositioned my mind listening to Shirley's positivity. Sometimes it's not about what you say, Shirley, it's about how you say it.
Yeah.
People, they know what's going on with you. They can hear it.
Yeah, but sometimes I think generally I feel like people are looking, it's all eyes on, and they see this like woman in this glittery lifestyle. Sometimes it feels like it's just in a secluded box, but actually that's not really the person that you are. Do you know what I'm saying?
But that's projection from you.
Yeah. I feel like at the moment, I felt like I got rid of all my walls on the second year of Strictly, and now I feel like they're all up again. I don't know.
Well, they're
probably self-inflicted, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they're really not, though.
Yeah.
And it's so important. You'll feel that love. They may be the black drapes of a BBC studio, but they're not real walls. Yeah. It's different, isn't it? And you know about being on the side, front of stage, front and centre. What have you got for the rest of the week? What have you got between now and Friday then?
Well, I'll be back at work tomorrow. I took today off, so come and see you and just have a moment to myself. Then I'll be back getting all these boys and girls ready for the competition. And then, of course, we have Saturday, have the first elimination. Somebody is going home.
Yeah.
And, of course, now as the head judge, I don't do it every week. I'll be able to choose somebody, whether it's Motzi or Anton. Heaven help poor Anton. I don't think he's got the heart to send anybody home.
Yeah.
And Craig, he'll be fine. But each person now will get a turn of sending somebody home,
Who doesn't want to watch on Saturday? This is the greatest.
Well, Craig used to say to me, you're going to get it on Twitter. That's what he used to say to me when I'd send somebody home. And now I'm actually saying, you're going to get it, Craig.
You're going to get it.
Because somebody you send home will always be somebody's favourite. And if you just look at all the people that we have on the show, who wants anybody to go home? We don't. They've done a spectacular job of the launch show, spectacular job of our first show last week. So it's unpredictable, this series, for sure.
The thing about the emotions you're feeling today is, Brené Brown is right. Vulnerability is a superpower. And Tilly introduced today as a national treasure. And you are a national treasure.
It's very sweet.
You are so loved and you're so revered and you're so respected. And now you're being vulnerable. It will make you even more loved, because when they're trying to engage readers or viewers of movies or TV shows with dramatic situations, if the characters aren't vulnerable, they never connect with the audience. You connect with the audience anyway, and now you're being vulnerable. I mean, geez, it's
Normally I can, I'm used to holding myself together, but for some reason, I don't know whether it's all such a busy week and the book and and I looked at some of the things that were going on this week, even with the show. I think the whole thing put together just makes you feel sometimes, you know what, this is what it is and this is what you're getting this morning, Chris.
You're only human, Shirley. I know you're a superwoman, but a superwoman starts off by being human, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I love you. I love you. And we all love you. And it's you're as good as it gets. And you never say never.
Yeah, never say never.
Never say never. You're 65. I'm about to be 60. Everybody tells me that decade, your 60s, is this extraordinary decade where you feel things that you've never felt before. There's more joy to be had than ever before. And it may not start at 60. It might start at 65. Because you know that if you've shed a skin, haven't you?
Yeah,
in the last
for sure.
couple of weeks, couple of months. And what happens after you shed a skin? New growth. You'll be looking back at this period in your life and you'll be thinking, well, that happened for me, not to me. And I'm already sensing that now.
And just peace, when you just want some peace. I'm searching for that, just that time where nobody's yap, the noise, trying to block out some noise that's going on in the life. I talk about that a bit in the book, block out the noise. Hard to do that. You've got this going on here and that going on there, and watch your back. They don't have a 10-inch knife in it, and, looking over your shoulder constantly, and you don't seem to be able to have that sort of Zen moment where you're not worried about anything. So I think I'm searching for that. I'd be happy if I found that.
I can sense you beginning to surrender to that moment because you are quieter than you've been ever before in this studio. It's not that you've talked less, you've just
talked... And I'm
talked...
trying to keep it, keep my voice up and what
have you. You don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to, because that. I think the peace is coming out. This is what peace sounds like. It's funny, isn't it?
Well, I shall just keep moving forward, putting my best foot forward. I shall keep to try to do that.
Oh, and the shoulder comes up. The coy shoulder comes up.
A little
and Shirley Ballas is back all of a sudden. As the interview's about to end, she has to go and face the world. The armour's back on. Light up the lippy.
So
come on, Ballas is back in town. It's great to see you, Shirley. I love you so. I didn't know this was the conversation we were going to have, but I'm so glad we had it.
Yeah, it's lovely. Actually.
Shirley Ballas has written a very honest book, and you could do a lot worse than get this in your life. Shirley Ballas, Best Foot Forward, Life Lessons from the World of Dance. And it's interesting that you feel so vulnerable when you write a book about how to maintain control. It's almost like this book has given you permission, because it's out there now, to go, right, that's what I think. I'm going to have a rest. I'll be over here if you need me.
Yeah.
But try and leave it 5 minutes if that's all right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it for Shirley Ballas. Come on, she's the best. All right, can I have a bit of a man in the suitcase, please, if you don't mind, Tilly? There you go. We'll have a bit of... Oh, that's fine. All right, once again, let's hear it for Shirley. Come on, double round. Shirley, you're wonderful.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to do your show.
Keep dancing, and remember to breathe.
Yes, breathe.
Hold the frame.
Hold the frame and breathe.